Filipino viewers are just different.
In this video, we are going to discuss what is so special about the Filipino viewers. Why are so many people making contents about the Philippines, so many vlogs in the Philippines, and why are we making content about the Philippines? What's special about you guys?
Yeah, guys, another talking video for you. But if you want to learn about our thoughts and hear some information about our experiences vlogging in the Philippines, this is how we do it. We just sit here in our chairs, nice and comfy, and we talk to the camera.
Trust me, we have a ton of Philippines vlogs planned for the return of TriFate to the Philippines. I'm actually here in the Philippines still right now. But
The boys are back in town. We have our spot to take back. So as you know, we've been in the Philippines a long time, but we've also been traveling around the world for a long time, collecting a very large array of different commenters and different people watching our videos from all over the world.
So like we said, we're going to discuss how the Filipino viewers are unique and also kind of address what it's like in other countries, just for some of you who are curious.
We feel like we can kind of understand the way that people are in these places, or at least commenters from these places. Because let's distinguish here and now, commenters are different from people that just watch videos and don't comment.
Typically, comments make up 1 or less than 1% of our video. So
If you want to minimize this video a bit and just point it at Filipino commenters are different, you can do that kind of if you want. That's basically going to be our basis.
but now it's time to get into why Filipinos are unique.
Here we go.
The first and most prevalent point we have noticed about Filipino viewers is that being up to date on the videos is extremely important. And what we mean by that is sort of like knowing that our video was filmed that day and it was posted that day, and knowing exactly where we are, who we're with, what time, where we're going to go next is very, very important.
This is something that we literally have not seen in any other country. Like since the day we came in the Philippines, and maybe that is because we did post daily at the beginning, that people kind of got attached to seeing our journey. Most viewers just assume that when we post a video that it's recent and we just did it. And then once they figure out that it's not, in whatever way they do, whether it's like something that's hanging on a wall behind us or something, suddenly they get very confused and they're like, wait, when was this?
And just for a little side note on that, it is extremely hard for us with the amount of channels we have to post up-to-date content, because we just sometimes, if we travel in another country for a week, then, I mean, it's just not possible to do up-to-date content because we're not in the country. But the only other place that is somewhat similar to this would be the Korean viewership, but it's in a different sense because the Korean viewership was unique.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because the Philippines and Korea are such trendy countries where they want to follow trends and they want a lot of people to do what other vloggers have done before. But it's in both those places, when we showed up, there was just instantly people being like, okay, now you have to do this, 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 and this. And there's a list. And since we already filmed our videos in advance, when we didn't start ticking off those boxes, people would get upset and not like it and be like, wait, why aren't you doing this like I said you should do?
The biggest difference came in when the Koreans seemed to get upset very quickly about how we did things versus the Filipinos, instead of getting necessarily upset, they would just kind of say to do it again.
That is definitely one thing that we appreciate a lot from Filipinos viewers, is that we can be our weird, joking, unserious selves, and they will still watch our videos and enjoy our videos. A lot of other countries we go to, recently, India and Nepal, when we would make jokes or sarcastic statements or do like random little skits, they just do not understand what's going on like whatsoever. It's just like no vlogger in the history of any India or Nepal vlog has ever done anything like that, and just goes whoosh right over their head. We, for example, we said, Kathmandu, they should call it Dogmandu since there's so many stray dogs. And there was multiple comments being like, no, Kathmandu doesn't mean cat. Very, very odd.
That wasn't even sarcasm, it was just like the stupidest of stupid jokes.
It's like a pun, like a stupid pun.
Yeah.
Like it's obviously not true.
Borderline dad joke. And yes, we do get to be ourselves here in the Philippines, thanks to you amazing viewers who will watch us. And the biggest example of that is the fact that we've made entire skit videos in this country and people will watch them, and we love that. We love making those videos for you guys, and we just love trying to incorporate the Philippines in some way into the skits that we could have filmed 10 years ago when we were kids, something we used to do. You Filipino viewers have been like the only people that have watched the skits and commented about like, oh, I love that skit, or you get into our verse that we've made with the skits with Duck and Crocker and stuff like that.
The only other places we've really gotten comments about skits are your fellow Southeast Asians. So Thailand, we've made a couple skits. We never made them to the extent that we've made them in the Philippines. And we've never had, like, of course, people being like, oh, I really love your guys' skits. I always get excited for the next skit in every video. Or like, oh, you guys don't have a Halloween video this year? Like stuff like that. In those countries, they'll just be like pretty like basic comments like, LOL, I didn't expect the horror movie at the end of the video, like stuff like that.
I mean, we've done skits in our recent videos in China and other countries on TriFate Lifestyle, and I just typed in skit to our comments, and the two most recent comments are from Philippines videos.
Not a single comment about our skits in China, and they were pretty weird, like to the point where some people you'd think would be forced to comment something with how weird they were.
I was abducted by an alien and probed.
I mean, it reminds me of when, it's probably the weirdest skit at that point that we did, where I was the gatekeeper on top of the wall in Intramuros feeding you jackfruit.
That one was very bizarre.
Like, of course, there was tons of comments about that. On our China video, none. People just acted like it didn't exist.
And some people in that skit based off, it was a bit of a weird, bizarre skit, and we had some stuff that some people might question if we're gay. That brings us to our next point. A lot of Filipino viewers...
Great transition.
A lot of Filipino viewers really care about our sexuality. This is not necessarily unique to the Philippines. I think it's more just that there's a larger prevalence of a homosexual culture here in the Philippines, but we get these comments in every country we go to. Brothers or couple, stuff like that. But we just obviously have noticed it a lot more here in the Philippines.
I would say in other countries, it's generally just the question, are you gay? Whereas in the Philippines, it's like assumption, and then they act upon it as well. Why would you think that? I mean, we're very masculine people. Spanish or English?
I blinked twice. Does that count? Now I moved my head.
Oh my. And we're not going to answer the question, by the way.
Well, actually, we are not gay. We're cousins. We're not a couple.
You just answered the question. That's been the age-old question for years now, since we started reacting to K-pop. But yeah, we're cousins. We're family members, so unless we're in Sweet Home Alabama, where that's a confusing part, because Sweet Home Alabama, what's more frowned upon, the family, you know? I don't know if we're allowed to say that word without getting demonetized, or hating gay people. Which one do they care about more?
Quite the contradiction there.
But yeah, we noticed in the Philippines, people love knowing about the vloggers' families. Family vlogs get tons of views. People bringing family members to the Philippines get tons of views. And people, ever since we showed up, have been asking us about our family and saying we should bring family members over to the Philippines. So yeah, I mean, that is something we have not seen anywhere else, is people like want to know about your family, and they want you to bring your family into the Philippines to experience Filipino culture.
It is cool. And a lot of these like observations that we're making in this, I wouldn't attribute all of them to Filipino culture, but a lot of them do attribute to Filipino culture, like the family culture here. So a lot of this could just be about Filipinos in general as well. But yeah, we're just making just commenters, okay? But yeah, I mean, the family videos get a ton of views, and that's another observation we've noticed is Filipino viewers kind of like join with you, and they're very proud of your accomplishments, which is very cool. Like as soon as we got to the Philippines, they were like, wow, your subscribers jumped by 1,534 since you got here. Oh, look at this video has 200,000 views. Like they really, really care about how you're doing as a channel, which is something we haven't seen anywhere else. The closest we got about people caring about the YouTube side of things is people in Hong Kong were very upset about the way we filmed videos.
In Hong Kong, for some reason, they'd be like, you guys don't film that right. You should be filming forward, not filming yourself. Show us the streets. We want to see Hong Kong. We don't want to see you. And we're like, oh, okay. It is interesting that is the closest place, and that's not even remotely the same as the way the Filipinos really just the Filipino commenters really just delve in and are proud of views. But the opposite end of that is when you get less views, they tell you about it and they say, "Oh, your views suck now. You don't get nearly as many views as you got in the Philippines. You better be heading back so we can give you more views. You only get views in the Philippines." Every time we're in the Philippines for a few videos, we get that inevitable comment, "Oh, you're leaving the Philippines? Unsubscribed."
Yeah, so I mean, they come and join the channel and are proud of the increase, but as long as it's because of Philippines. If we got an increase from our Thailand series, there's no Filipinos proud of that, and I guess it makes sense.
Some of the most baffling ones sometimes are like there'll be a person, and usually it's somebody that jumps on to a series after we've been to a country and they're like a new viewer. They'll be there. We'll notice them commenting like all the time, super supportive, and then suddenly we leave and they're like, "Oh, you're leaving? I'm not watching anymore." And you're like, "Okay." It's just an odd thing. I mean, it makes sense, but it's also so odd to us because the people like talk about our unique style and they talk about how we're different from other vloggers and they like our banter and they like all this stuff. Our videos in other countries are almost exactly the same as our Philippines videos. They just happen to take place somewhere else.
Especially since we don't even mention like that many observations about the countries we're in that much. Like we're never like, "Oh, look at this modern thing, this thing, this thing." So we just end up just saying the same things we normally would about like, I don't know, random demigorgons or something like that, but it's just in a different place.
It's interesting too that we are very successful in the Philippines, like doing whole videos about eating foods that aren't even Filipino. But then as soon as it wasn't in the Philippines anymore, it doesn't matter, even if it has had nothing to do with the Philippines. It's just interesting. And I mean, it makes sense in some regards if people found us because they watch Philippines vlogs for their job and suddenly we're not in the Philippines anymore and they just abandon ship and wait for the ship to sail by again.
Also, with that being said though, as much as we've seen people be extremely unsupportive when we leave the country, Filipinos have been the only country to support us that isn't the home country on vlogs.
Yeah.
This obviously could just be attributed to us having a larger Filipino following, so that's going to be who watches those videos. But I mean, I look at this Taipei video, our first video in Taipei, which was a long time after we left the Philippines on YouTube. It was like maybe 4 months at that point. The highest viewership that wasn't recent was Philippines, still with 5% on that video.
Basically at the same time, some Filipino viewers are some of our most loyal viewers we have by far, and others are our least loyal viewers. It's just a mix. And nowhere else in the world that we've ever gone have we had people follow us to every single country. And the ones that do and they comment, we know you guys and we appreciate you. Thank you.
You guys mean a lot to us.
And there's some viewers that go to all our different channels and comment on all our different channels, which is super cool. And we have literally never had that in any other country. So that's just, it's like we started the journey and they're continuing on the journey with us, even if we technically haven't been on the Philippines and TriFate lifestyle for almost a year at this point.
But like you said earlier, there is the two sides, the one side and the other side, and that comes with an interesting little topic about safety in the Philippines. There's been times where we go to places that people might not consider super safe, and it's very interesting to see how people react to that when we go there.
It's something we've noticed for a long time, even on videos that aren't even ours. It's just like every other country, there's people with very different experiences and very different opinions on the Philippines. I mean, we went to Pasay for one of our early videos, and half of the comments were like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cool that you guys went to this place that no one else has gone." And then half of the comments were, "Oh my gosh, you guys shouldn't go there. I would never go there. I don't want to die or get pickpocketed." So it's just like these two sides, these two very, very different sides of opinions, and it's interesting. I mean, we've definitely seen that in other countries, but not to this degree.
Yeah, it'll be a divide, but typically not as much about safety.
No.
Which is the unique part about this.
And once again, that probably comes down to the amount of videos and the amount of places we have traveled to in the Philippines. We haven't had the opportunity to go to many, I guess you would say, dangerous places in other countries. We haven't seen that pretty much anywhere else, other than I can think of maybe 1 or 2 comments in India where they're like, oh my gosh, you went there? I would never go there, and I live close.
And of course, no matter what we said in this video, we appreciate you guys more than anything because you're the reason we're here.
More than anything? What about ube hopia?
Oh, the little cubes.
Yeah, the little like thick hockey pucks.
Oh, they have the ube hopia, the dice hopia in Alphamart, and that stuff's still.
What about that like one from that Holland place in Bonando? That was really good. I really liked that.
Okay, you guys might be maybe top 10 behind 10? A lot of ube products.
Yeah, that's probably about accurate.
Our family, our mothers, doesn't make the top 10, just ube and Filipino Viewers.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling your mother.
No!